Good morning, Dr. Pranab. Thank you so much for coming on this platform and delivering a session on climate resilience for skill and entrepreneurship development under Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav in the 75 webinar series of Skill Council for Green Jobs. We are really privileged to have you here, and I would like to formally welcome you. We have with us our CEO, sir, Dr. Praveen Saxena ji also, and the members have started joining the webinar. And I would request the CEO, sir, to just speak a few words to welcome you.
Thank you very much, Arpit, and welcome to Dr. Pranab Patraji. Yeah, thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate your time for adding value to our webinars. I'm sure Mr. Singh must have told you that this is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We are organizing a series of webinars, and we have done almost 50 such webinars covering various aspects of sustainable development. I am extremely thankful to you for sparing some time for us, and I'm sure our viewers would benefit from your experience and the speech you will take. I would also like to come at the end, frankly speaking, to discuss the topics you have covered and what more we would like from you. Once again, welcome, and thank you very much for sparing the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for greeting Dr. Pranab. Now, I would like to formally request Mr. PB Singh to give a brief introduction of Dr. Pranab Patar ji. And once again, thank you so much for being on board, Dr. Pranab. Over to you, Dr. Singh, Mr. Singh.
Thank you, Arpit sir. Thank you, CEO sir. Good morning, everyone. I'll welcome to the 51st series of webinar. The Skill Council for Green Job is organizing a series of webinars to celebrate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav 2022 as a part of India's celebration of 75 years of Independence Day. In this series, the SCGJ is inviting eminent and learned speakers in different sectors on sustainable development, renewable energy, and waste management, so as to deepen the understanding recent development in these sectors. The first in the series was launched on 24th September 2021. Today we have experienced learned speaker who will be sharing his expertise and experience on decentralized approach for building climate resilience for skill and entrepreneurship development. Currently, Dr. Pranab is Chief Executive of Delhi-based Indo-US Environment and Social Impact Organization Global Foundation for Advancement of Environment and Human Wellness. He is President, Assam Science Society, Delhi and NCR branch, and Secretary, Terry Alumni Association. Dr. Pranab J. Patar is an award-winning environment sustainability professional and a thought leader with over 20 years of experience in non-profit sectors, having worked with some of the leading organizations, namely Earthwatch Institute, Terry, Wildlife Trust of India, GIZ, Center for Environment Education, WaterAid. Dr. Pranab led and contributed to 50 major environmental projects. He is author of 4 dozen publications, trained over 10,000 corporate executives, development professionals, and educators, delivered about 50 keynotes address, invite lectures, recipient of dozen national international award recognition. Dr. Pranab is a part of the Climate Reality Leadership Corp and has been members of multiple national and international bodies, including IUCN World Commission on Protected Areas. Dr. Pranab has received wide appreciation, including recognition as a corona warrior by Dainik Jagran for his humanitarian aid work during COVID-19 and floods in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Assam, and Bihar. Now is over. Over to you, Dr. Pranab.
Thank you, Singh Saab, for this rich introduction. First of all, I would like to thank Skill Council for Green Jobs and Dr. Saxena Saab, whom I have met in my earlier avatar, which he may or may not recall now. It's been many years that I met him in his office in Gurgaon. And thanks to RPG as well. And it is my honor and privilege.
Dr. Pranab, now I can definitely recollect. Definitely recollect. I'm so sorry I missed it.
No worries, sir. That's absolutely all right. It's been a while.
Passed, but I surely now, in fact, I was trying to see your face and I was seeing that I have definitely met him somewhere. So it's once again a welcome to you to the Skill Council for Green Jobs.
Thank you. This is indeed an honor and privilege to be here on this very, very August webinar series. I would be very keen to share my experience and understanding about this particular very, very important aspect of building climate resilience towards creating livelihood opportunities for people at various levels through skilling as well as entrepreneurship development. So let me now share my presentation quickly. So I'm going to use a few slides, although this presentation is slightly longer, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to use all my slides here. I'm going to only refer to the most relevant slides of this presentation. So decentralized approach towards building climate resilience. This is a very interesting approach, and as we go along in this presentation, I'm going to throw more lights why I feel decentralized approach is the key for building climate resilience, because although climate change is a planetary challenge, this is something which has been felt all over the globe. This is not specific to or confined to only one particular region or a city or a state or a country, but this is rather being felt at this moment by almost the entire world. However, the solution lies at the local level. So that's what the focus of our presentation to say, and thereby creating opportunities for in the skill development and entrepreneurship sector. So before I go further into the presentation, I'd like to quickly give you the organization that I represent. As PV Singh has already mentioned, Global Foundation is a very unique environment and social impact organization, and we are based in Delhi. And this is based on triple bottom line philosophy, which is also known as people, planet, and profit. This is the ethos that we work on. We believe in this powerful connection between people, planet, and the profit. And we work around three important verticals: water, climate, food, and nutrition. But we also, as an organization, have been very, very active in providing humanitarian assistance. Although, as an organization, we are specialized in environment and sustainability sector, but we have also been very active, especially during last 2 years of COVID pandemic across the country. So now, and this is something I would like to highlight. In fact, I've written a chapter in a Spring Job book recently about leadership challenge during difficult times, with special reference to COVID. And there I have penned down my experience about, because since today we are also going to talk about resilience, of climate resilience, but I would like to highlight the resilience is not just confined to one particular area. Resilience could be applicable to an individual, an organization, a society, a community, a state, and the country. So as we were dealing with COVID, the organization went through a very difficult time, like most organizations in the country and all over the world. And what we've learned that, if we are resilient, we can, it is never difficult to sail through any problem. And we have done that as an organization by doing more with less, by embracing partnerships, by working with like-minded people, despite limitation with our resources, financial resources in particular. And this is slide reason that I'm highlighting. We have been able to work together and partner with so many institutions, government agencies, to academic institutions, universities, all the way to grassroots institutions across India. And during this difficult times of COVID, and in a span of less than 2 years in the COVID period, we may have partnered with around 25 different organizations. So this is the power of staying resilient and staying flexible. So now moving on to the main focus of our session. So today our focus is climate resilience. But before we do that, I would like to highlight and talk about this change that we are referring to. What kind of a change is this climate change? Often when I talk about climate change, the first thing that comes to my mind is, as humans are very, by nature, we like change. In fact, I would like to say that change is fundamental to our well-being and growth. But some changes are not always appreciable. Some changes are even harsh, difficult, and scary. And we are referring to climate change. And climate change is something, although we love change, but this is the one change that we know nobody likes. So, and this change is happening to hamper life in various forms. And in fact, I would say in every way possible, right, left, and center, in every aspect of our life, every aspect of our work, every aspect of our livelihood, from agriculture to industries, from water sector to energy sector, every sector possibly under the sun is getting impacted because of this change, which is becoming almost uncontrollable. Although climate change is not entirely human-made, it is primarily a natural process, but it is getting induced because of human activities, and also because of the repercussions that is getting evidently stronger day by day in the natural facet, because of activities that we are doing, or the contribute, especially in terms of the carbon emission that we are leading to because of various activities, whether it is industries or all other forms of so-called developmental activities, urbanization, industrial growth, etc., etc. So, as I said, this is impacting the entire globe. Inhabitable I mean, the world is becoming inhabitable day by day. It is no longer. There are certain places, like if you look at this particular slide, this black spots are currently considered as inhabitable. So that means, people can no longer live. Humans as well as other life forms, it is difficult to survive in those patches, especially around Africa. But and also a few smaller patches you may have noticed in Australia and also parts of India. It's becoming very, very difficult day by day to survive in those areas. But they are increasing. Inhabitable places around the world is increasing. And if we look at this projective forecast map, by 2070, almost half of the planet will become inhabitable, and it's a scary situation. So now let's look at what we can probably do. What is it that humans can do as a group, or I as an individual can do to prevent this, to slow down this process of inhabitability. And now, when I say the world, so every aspect, as I had already mentioned, even if we just look at India alone, the India situation is also not very good at this moment because of changing the impact of climate change. If we just look at the agriculture sector, because India is a agrarian country, and our economy is largely dependent on agriculture. So is the food production, because we are a country of a large population, more than 100 crore of population. So we need food. But as a result of this changing climate, the main food bowl of India, which is the central and peninsular India, where the most amount of the food grains are grown, are getting disturbed. The yield is getting decreased day by day, every season, because of the uncertainty, because of the change in rainfall pattern, because of the increasing droughts, because of unpredictable and incessant rains, as well as floods. So that is the ground reality. So now let's look at what other things that we are experiencing at this moment at the local level. So if you look at this slide carefully and each of these pictures carefully, these are something not unusual to you, something that you may have already experienced directly. You may have seen it in the news, you have maybe read it in the newspaper or saw it in social media. Floods, cyclones, crop failure, forest fire, floods, pandemic, air pollution in Delhi, the increasing the waste problems, droughts, cloudbursts, so on and so forth. So all these problems are manifesting at the local level. These are very, very localized kinds of problems that we are facing as a result of these change, that which is the humanity is scared of. And if you go further to understand these local problems, that is getting increasingly challenging. So first the thing comes to my mind is the water sector. The water is, despite India being a very rich, naturally rich country, endowed with a large number of water bodies, rivers, wetlands, smaller water bodies, and whatnot. But despite this natural abundance, India is also going through a water crisis now, both fresh water as well as groundwater, the surface water as well as groundwater. And this is an alarming situation. In one hand, we are facing scarcity. Other hand, we are facing the problem of deteriorating water quality. And these are very, very localized problem. You know, if you look at this slide again, it has listed about 30 cities which are considered as at most risk. By 2050, these cities are going to go dry, or completely dry, maybe partially dry, but they are going to face severe water problem in the coming years, in next 25 to 27 years. So what can we do about it? So although the climate change is a global problem, but the people at the ground level, they're facing localized problems. They're facing it day in and day out. Their life is completely distorted, disturbed because of these changes happening because of water and other environmental challenges. So now, talking of water, you know what? Why should we bother about, you know, these water bodies that are disappearing or deteriorating really fast? You know, is it because that we are dependent on water? Is it because that we do not have any more water left in the world? Because a lot of people also debate that, you know, the world, the Earth's surface is more than half is water. Then why should we be bothered about this water body disappearing? You know, one river dying, one wetland disappearing, one pond, going away. Does it really make a lot of difference? It does. It does, because most of the water that we see in the planet is not usable for human consumption. So that is the reason the surface water, which is the major source of fresh water, potable water, water which can be consumed by human beings and other animals, it's very, very precious. So that is the reason we need to be more worried about these disappearing water sources. And along with, because water source is not complete all by itself. When we talk about a particular ecosystem or an aquatic ecosystem, it is surrounded by trees, it is surrounded by green areas. So water body, the green spaces alone is incomplete. If we look at the larger from the ecosystem perspective, so we need to look at every living elements, including trees around it. And we should be bothered about it, because when the water bodies are dying, so obviously the trees also, the green spaces also would no longer be able to survive in that circumstance. And most importantly, these blue and green spaces are not just source of water. They are an important habitat. They're source of biological diversity. They are habitats for a number of living organisms, from the insect to as big as elephant, tiger, and human beings too. So these provide safe and conducive environment habitat for various life forms, and they complete the ecosystem. And these ecosystems provide us food, provide us clean air, provide us good environment, provide us aesthetic requirements for our well-being and mental well-being, most important. So all that is coming from natural ecosystem. So if we want our water bodies to survive, water bodies to remain as it is, the way they are, or water bodies to revive, we need to be able to make certain changes. We need to be able to prevent the impact of climate change. So now the debate is whether climate change is preventable. It is not. It is not entirely preventable. The reason being the process of climate change is natural, but it is getting induced. It is becoming difficult, more complicated because of various anthropogenic activities, human made created activities. So it is becoming more harsh now. This change is becoming more harsh. So preventing entirely is not feasible, but what we can probably do, we can probably help slow it down. We can probably put together solutions so that we can adapt to these situations. And most importantly, create resilience to be able to withstand these changes, withstand these environmental challenges that is the world is facing today. So the resilience is like I said, it's applicable to anyone. Like, for example, people go for regular walk, exercise, swimming, they consume good food, they stay in good environment because they want to protect their health. They want to increase their resilience, the human resilience against illness, against difficult environmental conditions. So similarly, our natural environment also needs to build its resilience against climate change. And most importantly, from a more human-centric perspective, like since a large population of humans are confined to urban areas, so it is also becoming very, very important to build climate resilience at the urban areas. Because normally urban areas, we see less greenery and more concrete, less natural things, but more human-made artificial things. But it is increasingly become important to have that balance so that, the urban areas too, where we live and work, becomes resilient against this inevitable changes, climate change. And most importantly, these green and blue spaces, whether it is your ponds and lake and river, wetlands, or these green spaces, whether it is a small park in our city, in our locality, in my society, or maybe a bunch of trees near my house, or maybe a big forest, maybe a national park and sanctuary, they all act as carbon sinks. They store carbon, and they also help produce and release much needed oxygen for our survival. It regulates the microclimatic conditions. It also regulates, control floods and reduce erosion and protect our habitat. It gives us everything that we need for our well-being. So if we look at the point number 2 and 3, it says the forest and wetland ecosystem house important carbon stacks, which I have already mentioned. They store carbon. So that means when we protect forest and wetland, we are preventing the carbon from getting released into the atmosphere, because the most worrisome factor as far as climate change is concerned is increasing carbon emission today. The increasing amount of carbon and other greenhouse gases are getting emitted into the atmosphere because of various activities that we perform on a daily basis, from the driving the car, from running a generator, from running any electronic devices, from the manufacturing units, from your from aircraft, ships, and so on and so forth. All the time, what we are doing is we are emitting carbon dioxide. So when we prevent them, we are, and if we further continue to destroy our forests and wetlands, so the emission will only increase. So if we are able to protect our forest and wetlands, so we are preventing a large amount of carbon from getting emitted into our atmosphere. So terrestrial vegetation alone is estimated to store approximately about 450 to 650 gigatons of carbon dioxide. That's huge. Similarly, gross emissions from tropical deforestation and degradation is about 2.8 plus minus 5 gigaton carbon per year. So that was an estimate conducted in the previous decades, but now it is further increasing because of our developmental needs, because of our growing population's demand, because of industrial and urbanization demands. The deforestations continue to happen. Deforestations also happen because because of our growing population, we need more food to grow, and we are clearing forests to grow agriculture crops. So eventually, every activity that we are doing, we are damaging our natural resources, our natural heritage, which stores carbon. So what can we do about it? So this is a slide before we go into the solution part. This is a very important slide I would like to quickly bring upon. In most cities, like for example, these 5 cities, Ahmedabad, Bhopal, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bangalore, and Mumbai. So these 6 cities, as per an estimate conducted recently by a group of scientists, they found that the more urbanization is resulting in loss of blue and green spaces. So more you grow in terms of urbanization, industrial growth, we are losing our blue and green spaces faster. So this is a scary situation, and it highlights what is the loss rate as far as blue and green spaces are concerned, and year-wise, you can see it from various ways. Ahmedabad, it's shown a trend between 2018 to 2020. Similarly, there's a projection about Bhopal from 2020, from this year onwards to 2030, how this is going to go. How these changes will take place as far as blue and green spaces. And the more we grow in terms of urban and built up area, and we are losing our these natural spaces at a rate faster than we would have imagined. And especially for Mumbai, the Mumbai situation even more difficult. It has in 1970 onwards, it has continued to lose green and blue spaces. These are our forest areas, our green cover, as well as water bodies. So this is a very, very important aspect of a negative aspect of our urbanization. Although it is very important, if you look at the positive aspect of urbanization, it is very, very important, because urban areas are considered to be hub for education, better healthcare, a good GDP, opportunities, job opportunities, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, it is also creating problems for the environment. So it is time for us to holistically look at the solutions, what can probably be done to have that balance. So I consider this as not as a crisis, but as an opportunity, or rather we can call it as a crisis that leading to more opportunities. Rahm Emanuel, who is a very well-known American career politician, he says, you should never let a serious crisis go to waste, because crises are considered as an opportunity where people can do, or people do things differently. Like, for example, if we look at our COVID-19 alone, so amount of good things that we have done to overcome or to equip ourselves to become more resilient is enormous, and as a result, we are standing tall today, and they're standing stronger out of COVID, and going on a path of recovery well. So, of course, it has given us a lot of difficult times. We've lost our friends, families in all over the place. But at the same time, it has also been able to give us an opportunity to look at things differently, become more prepared to fight disaster. From a disaster mitigation point of view as well, the crisis can be considered as a good learning point. So that means not everything is gloom and doom. Collective action that helps improve our knowledge, that engages people, that can help enhance our resilience to fight and reduce threats. So that is what I see as a multi-pronged collective actionable approach as far as climate change is concerned, or for that matter, any other environmental or other challenges is concerned. So I've already mentioned about holistic approach. So holistic approach is very important, because this gives us look at things from a very broad perspective. It gives us, helps us develop a 360 purview of things. It helps factor in views and debates of every stakeholder. So we are learning to fight back. We are learning to fight back how? We are learning to fight back by doing mitigation and adaptation. And these are, I'm sure, everyone in the audience understands this importance of mitigation and adaptation. These two are very commonly used terms as far as climate change is concerned. So mitigation is done at a larger scale, at a state level, at a global scale, to reduce emission of carbon dioxide, emission of greenhouse gases, so that we are able to slow down the process of climate change. We are able to fight climate change impacts well. And as far as adaptation is concerned, it is more of a localized approach. It is more of things that solutions that we can do to immediately fight these impacts, immediately equip ourselves to fight better, equip ourselves to overcome these crisis situations. And a combination of these two both are some of the things that I am referring to as far as climate resilience is concerned. We are here to discuss about building climate resilience today, and thereby seeing what opportunities it can bring as far as livelihood is concerned, as far as skill development and entrepreneurship is concerned, especially in the green sector. So the conservation of our natural heritage, water bodies, forest cover, growing local food, educating our people, engaging with the community, generating awareness, using renewable energy or low carbon energy sources. These are some of the things we do, we promote as climate resilience building measure. And it has tremendously. There are plenty of examples where we've seen, measures put together to build climate resilience, is helping reduce flooding, control drought, even control urban heat challenges. Like, for example, I mentioned that these water bodies also and forest cover also serve as it helps control the microclimatic condition. So when you are able to influence the microclimatic condition positively, you are able to overcome things like urban heat, because urban centers are considered to be heat centers. There's in environmental science, there's a concept called urban heat island, because since most things are concrete, most things that emit heat, the cities end up producing more heat as compared to surrounding areas, as compared to areas which are, for example, has forest cover, has agriculture, or has less amount of concrete. But when we are able to enhance blue and green spaces, we are able to protect them, we are able to grow them, we are able to restore them, we are enhancing the cities, the urban centers' ability to also reduce the heat problem. And there are so many other things. We can the benefits of these green, they're called as green infrastructure, because this is a fairly popular and emerging term these days. Green infrastructure is a chain of statistically developed and promoted chain of blue and green spaces. So it could be both natural as well as man-made, and they end up providing benefits to human being, so that we are better equipped to fight. We are more resilient for these changes. So let's quickly look at this slide to understand what kind of benefits these blue and green infrastructure provide us. Like I had already mentioned, reduce flood risk. I've mentioned about carbon sequestration, which is about storing carbon, improve air quality, shading, shelter, education. And another very important aspect that I would like to highlight as far as the benefits are concerned, especially during COVID, one thing that we've realized, mental well-being is very important. Mental well-being can come from various measures. But one of the very easy thing is to go for a walk, is to visit a park, is to sit under a tree quietly, is to look at birds. So these also comes from blue and green infrastructure. And this is very, very important. The aesthetic beauty is important, not for the environment, but for an individual. for his or her mental well-being. So there are a whole lot of benefits these blue and green spaces can provide. So now look at, we have talked about a planetary challenge. We have talked about challenges and crises, problems that are happening at the local level, something that we are facing day in and day out, something that we want to overcome, mitigate. So how can we do about it? Since the problems are local, so I strongly believe our solutions also has to have a localized approach, has to have a decentralized approach. Instead of looking at solutions, of course, centralized solutions is important. Like, for example, if we talk about the problem of, I live in Noida, a problem of Noida, or maybe the problems of Delhi, we'll have to find solutions locally. We will not be able to solve a problem in Delhi if we just look at the entire North India. So decentralized approach is important, and decentralized approach is easy to implement. It helps people understand, it helps people engage with this problem as well as the solution. And we can thereby create solutions locally. Like, for example, if I want to protect a bunch of trees which is next to my society, a small park that I have outside across the road, or small pond that I have near the market, so that I will have to go and protect them locally then and there. So that is the most decentralized approach to do it. And there are multiple ways we can do it. We can engage people, we can do tree plantation, we can do restoration drives, we can sort expert support resources from people, agencies, and government institutions, organizations. But whatever we do, the solution has to be done locally, so that our problems, the local problems, are sorted first, solved first. And then once they are sorted, once they are addressed, we can then probably open up to looking at the bigger problems, the bigger picture. So building resilience not only happens to the space alone, but to the communities. And so it is a win-win. It is, we are not building the resilience of a particular town or a village, but it is, we are actually building the resilience of the community who live there. So if we look at this slide, there are three different pictures. So on the top, it says, stronger and smarter infrastructure to withstand extreme weather. So that it says, we need, climate, adaptable infrastructure. Like, for example, it is referring to solar energy, it is referring to trees, it is referring to electric mobility, it is referring a person is taking a cycling. So all these are environment friendly activities. All these can help us withstand the extreme weather conditions, or help us build our resilience. So as a result, what we do, we are more getting engaged into providing and finding solutions, because these kind of things, it's not only done at the governmental level, not only done at the policy level, but it is done at the localized level by local people. Like, if I am using a public transport, so I am as an individual doing it, and 100 other people like me are doing it. Similarly, if somebody is using an electric car, so that person's individual choice, conscious choice to become from transition from fossil fuel car to an electric car, which is eco-friendly. So these are individual choices that we make for collective good, and it helps reduce the vulnerability by building community capacity, by ensuring provisions for critical services, particularly in communities that bear the brand of climate impact. So all that aspects are helping build the collective capacity of a community to fight back, like exactly what we did during COVID. You know, the entire world, like entire India, came together to find a solution for vaccine, find a solutions for alternative livelihood, finding solutions to protect each other, safeguard each other. So it was a collective, individual choice, but with a collective result. And that is what we saw. Together, we are one as a country today, and we have emerged out of it stronger. So that is the result of the power of one. And one individual can do a lot of positive things. And we have experienced that, we witnessed that during COVID. And similarly, to fight climate change impact, we'll have to now start coming together. We'll have to start realizing our individual as well as collective potential. So in an urban area which has ample amount of blue and green spaces or infrastructure, so what all things probably we can expect for a city to, or an urban center to become well equipped with green and blue spaces to fight climate change impact. So we can see biodiversity rich areas, beehives, we can see agriculture field, we can see forest areas, we can see open space, parks, we can see solar powered buildings, we can see buildings with, you know, terrace gardening, so on and so forth. So these, there has to be balance. We cannot have only one thing. And it is like, you know, as they say, you want to have the cake and eat it too. It is actually the solution of is that will come through enhancing our blue and green spaces or blue green infrastructure. It is like having the cake and eating it too. And the larger benefit that these infrastructure will bring in is the green job opportunities. So it is becoming a big denominator as far as green job is concerned. So how does it happen? So as far as these particular slide, the international level organizations are earlier said, you know, the most green jobs come from renewable energy sector, manufacturing, construction, repair, and teleservices, so on and so forth. But the another most important part where the green jobs will come in is to by creating these green spaces, by preventing these green spaces, restoring these green and blue spaces. So that is another very important sector where the green jobs are getting created or has the potential for more skilling and entrepreneurship in the most green environment friendly potential possibilities. So now let's look at these few numbers. So investment in small scale projects providing access to safe water, basic sanitation in Africa could offer an estimated economic return of about 28 billion a year. So look at this. This is huge. And I'm just referring to Africa. This is only one part of the world. So potential is huge. And we are referring to only one sector, which is safe drinking water and basic sanitation. If we start looking at other areas like energy, so that this number will grow further. So similarly, if you look at United States, every $1 million invested in the country's traditional water supply and treatment infrastructure generates about 10 to 20 additional jobs. Look at the job potential. So this is again water supply. Let's look at the last point. The International Renewable Energy Agency estimated way back in 2014 that more than 7 million people will oh, sorry, in 2014 itself, already more than 7 million people had already been employed in the renewable sector. And these numbers are growing. And now today, if we look at India alone, so India is growing phenomenally as far as renewable sector is concerned, because India has an emphasis to go greener. India has an emphasis to reduce its dependency on fossil fuel. And moreover, something that we all should appreciate and acknowledge, that India has a target to achieve. India, the Honorable Prime Minister of India has already committed that India will become a net zero country by 2070. And how is this going to happen? Net zero means, that means our carbon footprint will be stabilized by taking up equal amount of offset measures. That means we will have enough of environment friendly and conservation oriented resilience building, green and blue and green infrastructure development projects, and also conservation projects, afforestation drives, tree plantation drives to cut down our carbon footprint equal to what we emit. So that means our carbon footprint will be zero at the end of the day. So that means we have enough of offset mechanisms or measures, adaptation and mitigation measures to become zero as far as carbon emission is concerned. So how do we do that? We do it by becoming green, by adopting to greener measures, by adopting to green energy, by using renewable energy, by embracing environment friendly and zero carbon lifestyles, low carbon lifestyles, by not producing waste that requires further energy to dispose or recycle. So potential is huge. India is going in the right direction. If you look at this survey, across countries like Canada, Ghana, India, Pakistan, UK, and US, people are now, young people, talents are more inclined to go for green jobs. And this is really, really inspiring. This was published by an article in Forbes India. It said 78% people believe that their generation can create a solution to some of the society's and world's biggest challenges. This is really inspiring, because when we entered into the field of, and when I decided to study environmental sciences for masters more than 24 years ago, there was not much awareness among people, not much awareness among stakeholders. Even we didn't have a lot of guidance or people who can tell us, oh, you should do this, you should study environmental science, because this is going to be the key for future. This is going to bring in a lot of solutions for future problems. Something we were not able to see because we were not equipped. We didn't have a lot of information that time. We did not have a lot of data that time. And especially from a place where I grew, born and brought up, I come from Assam. We hardly had anything. But despite all of that, I've decided to study environmentals out of my love and passion for this sector. Not because I knew that this is an important area, this is something is going to change the future of the world. But now people are aware enough, people are more sensitive. People are 84% people are saying that ethics of a company or a sector considering a job while income remains the central purpose of the work. See, look at this. So income not only the deciding factor anymore. They also look into the ethics of an organization. They also look into the fact that how green is a company where they're going to go take up the job. So these are very fascinating change that the world is witnessing today. And I certainly see although climate change is a very, very problem for the entire world, but I see there's light. There's light at the end of the tunnel. This is again repetitive, but by 2050, in the renewable energy sector alone, more than 52 jobs will be created globally. And unfortunately, there will be some job losses as well, 27 million, almost 50%. But they are also getting an opportunity to getting absorbed with enhanced skills. So that is why skilling is becoming important. Skilling not only for the fresh people who are just getting ready to enter into the job market, who are getting ready to graduate, who are getting ready to come out of the university and find a job, but also for people who are already in the job, because the world is changing. The companies are changing. The companies are changing the way they do business, the way do they function. So if the people are able to enhance their capacity while at the job already, so there's a potential they will get engaged or absorbed again in the same company or some other company. So there's more opportunity for job skilling in this sector. So, and this is a very, very fast growing sector. From 2019 to 2030, if you look at the revenue projection, so it says from $8 billion to $57 billion. That is the growth projection, revenue projection, as far as green sector is concerned. And that is huge. From 19 to 30, so that is just about 21 years, right? And sorry, yes. And look at the growth, sorry, 11 years, and look at the growth. It's about 7 times growth. 24 million new jobs globally by 2030 in the green economy sector. So it is opening up new doors. It is opening up opportunities in areas where we never thought this could create a job opportunity. Waste management sector, water sector, energy sector. Within the energy, we have wind energy, we have hydroelectric energy, we have solar energy. Within the energy sector, we have manufacturing, we have distribution, we have maintenance, operations. So there are various aspects of opportunities are getting created because, like I said, this is not a crisis. Of course, this is a crisis, but this crisis is leading to more opportunities for the people. As the world is growing in terms of our population, we need jobs, and these environmental problems are, fortunately, although we do not want more environmental problems, but they're creating opportunities so that we, while addressing these problems, we are able to absorb our people. We are able to find livelihood. We are able to find better livelihood. We are able to find livelihoods which are carbon neutral, which are net zero, which are environment friendly, which are low carbon. So this is amazing. This is it's a little old data as far as India is concerned. This sector has created about 47 new jobs. This is an old data about 5 years ago, and already has employed about 5 lakhs people. And that number is growing. And the Skill Council for Green Jobs has updated information on all that green sector growth in as far as India is concerned. Waste management. This is again phenomenal growth. If you look at the lowest corner of this slide, and see about 15 to 20 million people are already in the informal waste management sector, and about 4 million people in the formal waste management sector. And if we are able to find better skills for them, we are able to structure this sector, so all these people will be absorbed in the formally, and more as we continue to create waste, well, more jobs will be, more people will be required, in skilled people will be required in times to come. So now I'm almost, I know it's already 1 o'clock. I will just try to summarize in next 2 or 3 minutes. I want to quickly highlight the social sector growth as far as India is concerned. The social sector means social entrepreneurship sector I'm referring to. That combines both environmental issues as well as core social issues like education, women empowerment, skilling. But this sector is growing in terms of direct impact investment. We are getting an investment something to the point of close to $2 billion US. And this was again old data, and this is almost a decade old data. And this sector is, and most interestingly, if we look at the larger ecosystem of social entrepreneurship, there are a lot of businesses. They are directly linked to environment sector. So if you look at this slide, the pie chart, and see, sustainable engineering, air pollution, food waste, ecology, farming, clean water, these are all directly linked to environment. And they are again doing to provide local solutions. They are again doing the work in the most decentralized way so that our habitat is secured, our city is secured, the place where we live and work is secured, and then we secure our state, secure the country, and secure the planet eventually. So quickly, I want to give you a little highlight about a decentralized approach and regulatory framework that is coming as a positive in as far as our saving and our blue and green spaces are concerned. There's a internationally accepted model called OECM, Other Effective Area-Based Conservation Measure. This is a model which is somewhat similar to the concept of protected area, national parks and sanctuaries, although in a growing areas like a city, like for example in Delhi, we do not have enough ample area to protect as national park or sanctuaries, but we have enough areas to prepare them as OECM sites. And fortunately, as I speak, Delhi NCR became the first city in India to have its first OECM site. If you are aware about Aravali Biodiversity Park, which is adjacent, which is between Gurgaon and Delhi, adjacent to Arjangarh metro station. It is a restoration site. It has been restored and brought from the brink of extinction by a group of people, individuals, has now been recognized as an OECM site. It is a kind of a protected area. It is a site for biodiversity protection, but it is at the same time, it is an important site that stores carbon, that is a carbon sink, and that is providing the much needed resilience that I was referring to. So we need more such sites in India, in Delhi, or any other cities around the world. So that we are able to, and thankfully, since in cities, it is difficult to have or maintain a national park or a sanctuary, it is always easy to have a flexible, conservation sites like Aravali Biodiversity Park. And that is accessible by all, and that is being developed by a group of people, group of individuals, like a lot of people I am aware about. So these are, like I said, individual action for a collective good. And that is the most living example of decentralized approach to conservation that can lead to building climate resilience. So I would like to end with 2 more slides. What we are doing as far as decentralized action is concerned, and where we see there's potential for skilling as entrepreneurship development. So the cities, as you are all aware, cities are struggling and with their blue and green spaces, and many of our water bodies are disappearing really, really fast for various reasons, natural as well as human induced. Waste being one of the major problems, because the ponds, the people use the ponds as dumping yards many a times. You go to any city, any town in India, you'll find at least one pond which has been used or converted into a dumping yard. So what we are trying to do is, because we all now realize the importance of these areas, we are trying to restore them by locally available technologies and green technologies. Like, for example, one technology is called constructed wetlands. It's a very popular model where we use plants to reclaim the soil and purify the water. And we are restoring these water bodies. This is an example from Ghaziabad. The one on the top is an example from, it's a joint project undertaken in Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University in Hyderabad. So these are some of the decentralized projects that we are doing. And all these projects require skilled people, whether we talk about mason, whether we talk about people who can actually restore a pond, or who can actually prepare a constructed wetland. We need skilled people. So thereby I see increasing opportunities for, these are out of the box, very, very offbeat, unconventional area where we will need skilled people to, build and protect and restore our blue and green spaces. And it is also an beautiful and profitable, profit-making entrepreneurship opportunities. Although our work is, we are a not-for-profit organization, our approach is different, but I see it also as a entrepreneurship opportunities, because if an individual take it up as a business model, I can very well do that. And there's plenty of resources available in the country, whether it is the private sector, the CSR grants, or even the government of India is promoting through this Jal Shakti Abhiyan. They are developing Amrit Sarovar, the water bodies in each district, each panchayat. So they are restoring and reviving and creating new ponds. And so resources are available. So this can very well be a business model for people who are interested. So we also do rainwater harvesting for, it's a different model, advanced model for aquifer recharge. So these are again decentralized model of approach. And most importantly, we engage people. We've worked, like for example, if you look at this news clipping, so it highlights how we have engaged people to sustain a water body after it was restored mechanically. When we say water body is not just our ponds or lakes. Water bodies are also wetlands. Wetlands are also are disturbed because of various reasons now. So there are many natural factors, like there are weeds, there are water hyacinths. So we also promote water hyacinth based skilling, where people, especially women, can use their skills to prepare handicraft materials which are sold in the international market today. So that's about it. And apologies once again for taking those extra 5 minutes, about 5-6 minutes. But thank you once again to our organizers and for this wonderful opportunity to share my views on a very unique theme of climate resilience. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Dr. Pranab. I would really like to thank you once again for such an excellent webinar. It was really superb. And I've been to quite a number of these seminars and listening to various speakers on subjects like climate change and climate resilience. But frankly speaking, yours has been one of the most informative so far, and that too by a very long margin. So I'd like to thank you once again. I would like to request CEO sir to just take this further and probably invite the other members for any questions if they have from the speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Arpit. In fact, first of all, let us see if anybody has any questions for Dr. Pranab. In fact, I would like to compliment Dr. Srinivas, who has always been with us in the entire webinar series. Dr. Srinivasan, I saw you were there. Are you there still? So maybe he has just completed his stay here. So once again, Dr. Pranab, what actually I would like to I see a lot of synergy between what your organization is doing and what we are doing. In fact, we would like to pick up a few things where I would request that we have a short meeting together to see is to how, because not only we but the entire skill ecosystem trains people or skilled people in somewhere around 10 lakh people or approximately like that per year. So if we are able to develop a small capsule which can be adopted by all sector skill councils while they are doing the skilling, as to how decentralized approach can be adopted in cleaning our areas or climate resilience. So that is one area which I saw becomes extremely important, because nobody talks about decentralized solutions. And in fact, probably that is the way in which we will have to, while governments can do their own efforts at the larger scale, but individuals, how they can contribute to this part would be an extremely important, and that can be actually induced through skillings. Obviously, schools and colleges can be a very important source to make a sea change, and we will be very happy to work together and see how best we can contribute to our environment. It's not a matter of what you are doing, but it's a matter of how best we can contribute to our own betterments. I know that today the small kids are so much aware of AQI and things like that. How much is that? We should go out for playing or not playing. So why not to involve them and maybe their parents to see that a decentralized approach is adopted. I once again thank you very much, and I would also like to announce that we are going to have a panel discussion. Mr. PB Singh has told that we have completed 50 webinars in this series. So to sort of bring a gist of everything, we are planning a panel discussion next Friday on typically on green hydrogen, and our chairman, Mr. Samir Gupta, would be there, who started the webinar series. I would request that all the audience can pass on this message, and I would also request Dr. Pranab to be also present, so that all the speakers, all the 50 speakers are present there to make some short points after the panel discussion or during the panel discussion. So this would be our effort, and I would request that all the panel speakers which have been the web speakers for us also to join us on next Friday, where we will be discussing about what economics is taking a shape as far as green hydrogen is concerned. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Pranab. And with this, I hand it over to Mr. PB Singh for a formal vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Pranab J. Patar for a very knowledgeable and excellent presentation, and you are explained very well about the renewable energy jobs as well as growth of green sector, even entrepreneurship, etc. So thank you very much, Dr. Pranab. I would also thank to all the participants for her valuable time to join webinar. Thank you all of you. Thanks once again. Thank you, Dr. Pranab.
Thank you, sir. Thanks to Dr. Saxena sir for those kind words, and to you and to RPG. And like Dr. Saxena sir suggested, I would be more than willing and happy to look at the possibilities of joining hands to promote this cause and see where we can work together and strengthen the efforts, ongoing efforts further. And
yeah, thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
Very
Yeah.
soon, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.